everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I have on the most incredible guest. Her name is Barb Stegemann. She is the founder and CEO of the Seven Virtues. If you've ever gone into Sephora, which I am sure most of you have, you may have seen her perfumes line the shelves. She's been going at it for, I think, about 15 years. She was also on Dragon's Den. She's written a book. She is an incredible human being. I call her a goddess. She has so many insightful, inspiring things to say. So if you have ever thought of starting a business, if you are an entrepreneur and need some tips and tricks, she was so progressive early in the days to learn about no parabens and clean brands. And today she is here to talk to us about her philosophy and how she got started and where she's going now. And she's just a powerhouse. So I'm so honored to have her on the podcast. So please welcome my dear friend, Barb Stegemann.
Hey, Mary.
Barb, you are
Been
a
so
god.
long.
You
I
are a
love
goddess,
you.
girl.
I love you.
Why
I
are you
miss you.
always the goddess of all goddesses? You just are.
Oh, you always the goddess of all goddesses. Let's just be
No.
goddesses together.
Well, I got to tell you something, and I just did a little intro on you before you got on. I, I find that you honestly are one of the most inspiring, beautiful people that
Mm.
I've ever met
Thank
in
you.
my lifetime.
Thank you, Mary.
You
That's very
really
kind of
are.
you.
And you're one of the
Very kind of you.
kindest, most courageous people. I was looking through as a little bit of, I walked down memory lane. I was going through a lot of our emails the other day.
Oh,
We have about, I don't know, hundreds of them, I think, going back and forth.
no.
But the things that we were going through in like back in 2013, I mean, you and I literally have done a lot. I know we haven't seen each other in quite a few years, but I've actually watched so much of the growth of your company um, from afar. But I also you and I were going to do a reality show that
Oh, we still can. We
we
still can.
can.
Sometimes ideas just have a time and a moment, right? So,
Yeah.
it's like Charlie Chaplin when he made movies. He would make a film and he'd go, "Oh, it's not ready yet," and he put it on the shelf. And then he'd do it again, put it on the shelf. And then he'd go, "Oh," and he would take the five movies and boom, he had his hit. So ideas to me are like that. Sometimes you have to put them on the shelf and let them percolate. And it's not like they didn't happen. It's more like they're incubating and they're
Yeah.
waiting and ready for the moment when they're supposed to be at their finest, not sort
Mhm.
of almost there, right? And I think that that comes with wisdom, age, even ideas, for our perfume atelier. I wanted to do that 10 years ago, and no one liked the idea. Nobody wanted it. Now we are going to put them everywhere. So it's just
Well,
very interesting
it is
that any
interesting.
idea, right? So you shelve it like Charlie Chaplin, and then you put it back together, and it's your masterpiece when you put all those ideas together. That's how I think of them. They're kind of waiting for the moment when they're supposed to be born, right?
Right, and we need to revisit that. I mean, I wanted everyone to know also, like, you and I've traveled. We've been in LA together. We've been in New York
LA,
together.
New
We had
York,
a, did
Banff,
we, Banff?
Banff. We went to Banff together, Vancouver together.
H- How much fun did we have in Banff? So I want to go a little bit, I
Oh,
want to go
so
backwards so
fun.
everybody knows a little bit about your story. By the way, so
Is that your ambition?
okay, this is true, but this one's nearly gone because I seem
We
to
will get
like,
you more.
I
Have
like,
you?
I take this with me.
Oh,
Um,
because they're all clean
I
and
take it.
organic. Have you seen the new one? I'll
Oh,
get it
is
to you.
this
The
is this Buttercream
buttercream haze.
Haze?
It's our
Girl,
biggest launch ever. Biggest launch ever. Insane.
I
Sold out
can't.
in 50 stores first day. Like couldn't keep it in.
Well, do you know when I go
It's
into
amazing.
Sephora, every single time I go and look and see your display, I probably have educated about 10 different people about who you are. I'm like, do you
Thank
know
you.
this is my friend's perfume line? And they're like,
Oh, I
oh,
love
really? And I
you.
go, did you know
Right?
this about her? Did you know this about her? And they're like,
God, you're so
no.
cute.
And I'm like, well, now when somebody comes and looks at her perfume, you're going to know a little bit more about.
Thank
So
you.
they're very
We have to go
grateful.
on the road together. We have to
Yeah,
go on the road together.
I
You're
think
so
I
good
should
to me.
work for the seven virtues. I
Come,
think I
I'll
should.
work with you. We'll work together.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want you because like I was saying in my opening, which you didn't hear. You are an author, you are a mother, you are an entrepreneur, you are a philanthropist, you are a wife, you are a dear friend. Like you are so many things, and I'm sure I've left out quite a few, but you are so incredibly inspiring. And I want people to know your story because
Thank you.
I've only seen part of your growth. You started, I think, in 2000. How did you
Uh,
start? How did you start this? How did you
this.
start the perfumes? Like before you
Yeah.
got on to Dragon's Den?
Yeah, my best friend from university, who I rode with, Captain Green, he would push me to ask better questions, to row harder in university. He was serving in the Canadian Forces, and he sat in a peaceful shura in Afghanistan, and he was discussing how to bring clean drinking water and healthcare to the families of the village. And he was axed in the head by the Taliban, and he wasn't supposed to make it through the night. And I was living in Vancouver at the time. And so I went on a healing journey with him and I said, you heal, I've got this. That's what you would do for a best friend. And then I realized, I don't got this. I'm not a brave soldier. I'm not a world leader. I have no way to take on his mission while he heals. So I wrote the book, I have it right here, The Seven Virtues of a Philosopher Queen, and I dedicated it to him. Now it's in ninth edition, and it's empowered women to launch companies and bullying, run for office. And then I kept reading about Afghanistan and brought the thesis to life. I started buying oils from farmers in Jalalabad, and the Taliban were knocking over their orange blossom distillery. They were trying to get the farmers off the illegal poppy crop so their little girls wouldn't become opium brides. It's just a terrible, terrible situation there. And so I just started buying their oils, and it kind of took off. Really, we doubled their distillery. It was really great before the Taliban came in. And we went to Haiti, Rwanda. We were invited all around the world to buy sustainable oils. And that's really how it all started. That was in 2010. And yeah, I had to go on Dragon's Den. Banks wouldn't give me a loan. I mean, Mary, there was no word for clean beauty, without
Right.
phthalates and parabens. There was no word for social enterprise. I couldn't even really explain to the bank what I was trying to do, that I wanted to create these clean perfumes that you could wear to the workplace in Canada, because 40% of our workplaces are scent free. And if I'm going to help these farmers, I'm not going to harm your skin and put terrible chemicals on. So
Right.
clean was born out of, it just made sense to be kind, to the gracious to the people that buy your product, so that you can then help the people that you wish to help. So so I went on Dragon's Den, and that's how you and I met. Was Brett Wilson, who invested in me, and he brought you to. He was filming with you
On
on
Housewives.
The Housewives, and I remember I met you when we were launching Middle East Peace, and that's where we became friends. And it was through Brett. And oh, did I tell you Brett made 56 times his investment on me?
56
He
times.
invested 125,000 and made 56 times his investment. He still owns a little piece, but wow. I
Wow.
promised him I would pay dividends to him, and I was so proud the day I get a frog in my throat, because as you know, he's a gracious human being, and
Mm,
it was a long journey to get to that 56 times the invest, and
that's
he never gave up on
unbelievable.
me. He never got frustrated with me when there were dark days. He just was always there for me, and really it felt so good to
And he
just and
still
go
is,
visit
Barb.
him.
You still speak with him. I mean, he's still
Oh yeah, I went to
involved
see
with
him in
you.
Calgary just a few months ago. He has a much smaller portion of the company now, so he's not as involved, but he's my friend, just as much my friend as ever. In fact, more, because I felt like I delivered on something that he took a risk on. Um, and it felt good. Mary, it just
Yeah.
felt so good,
But
because
think about
not
how
ever,
progressive you were at that point, or you were so forward
yeah,
thinking because now
yeah, I
everything's
suppose.
about the clean brands, the clean. But I remember you
Socially
always saying
conscious.
paraben free, paraben free.
Yep, no phthalates.
I remember that, and then
Where to work.
the Noble Rose of Afghanistan, and
I remember
because
that.
I remember the first four fragrances. There were,
Yeah.
I think,
Afghanistan
four.
Orange Blossom, Noble Rose of Afghanistan. There was Middle East Peace at the party when I met you, and there was Vetiver of Haiti
The vetiver of Haiti. That's right. So the book, you started the book before you wrote the book before you
first. Yeah. I didn't feel
first.
I had the right to ask you as a woman to walk on glass and take risk in your life unless I did. So by bringing the thesis to life and saying, I will follow this stoic wisdom, these virtues of wonder, balance, truth, courage, justice, wisdom, beauty, but beauty being your power and your dignity, and demonstrate that you're going to navigate. Wow, it's almost really emotional as I say this. You're going to navigate and there's going to be bumps. There's going to be days where, it's almost over. And somehow, like a lifeline, you're going to navigate through by staying in a state of wonder, by speaking the truth, by being courageous, by seeking wisdom of mentors like Brett and others, and and trying to be just, trying to be ethical, trying to do your best to leave a better footprint on this planet. And then even if you don't agree with somebody, the virtue of beauty, respect their power and dignity and make sure no one takes your power and dignity from you, and you'll be okay. And so it's wild for me to be living all of this book, and I have to, because then I have no right to ask you to walk on glass. So this has been very cool journey. And I mean, it's like the Frank Sinatra song, you're up, you're down, you're over, you're out. And
Yeah.
that's what it feels like,
But
and
let me
that's
ask you
business.
something, because I know a lot of people will watch this and think, I've started this, I've started that, and what is your advice to people for that? Because myself, I've probably had more startups that I can't even count them all. And they say don't spend 1 minute on something you're not willing to spend 5 years on. I mean, there's been
Yeah, or
times
15 years.
or 15 years. Like, how did you keep yourself? Did you ever have those moments of I don't think this is going to work. I don't think I can do this anymore.
No, I've never
Okay.
had that. No matter, there was a week, Mary, I framed it somewhere in the house. Our entire year was so bad, about 10 years ago, that years later, I framed how much we made that year, and it was less than half of what we make in a week now, the whole year. Like, no one took an income in our family. Um, I paid for the printing from my own pocket. Like, we were giving Seven Virtues a lifeline. And I didn't even then think that I would end it. I kept thinking always about, well, two things. One, it's like that old saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. And I think right
Yeah.
before you're about to meet your greatest success is when you want to quit. So whenever I find it dark, dismal, and near the end, I know you're just about to hit your nirvana. And so that's when you go harder, just like the end of a marathon. I used to run half marathons when I was younger, and you leave nothing in the tank at the end. You shouldn't be able to pick up a shreddy the next day. You're that sore, but you leave nothing in the tank. And I think of business as a marathon too. Like, it's a long one. It's a long haul. There's gonna be dark times, gonna be hard times, but at the end, leave nothing in the tank and go hard. And that's really what I'm doing now. And it's really this. We're now at the highest, most exciting crescendo, almost like a hot air balloon. It just goes like this,
It's
and then all of
unbelievable.
a sudden it starts to go up, and then you're like, "Whoa, the view is lovely up here," and that's very new to me. That is where we are right now. We have
It's
40 employees.
unbelievable.
We're in 2,135 Sephora doors. My atelier in Halifax is just a tremendous place where people come and design their own perfumes. We're opening one in New York, one in Toronto. And I'm having more fun than I ever had. And I want anyone who's watching or listening to know, you know, you are right, Mary. You've got to really love it. There's no question. And but to know that when it's really dark, you're just about to hit your stride. And that's when most of us give up in relationships, in business, in things in life, and in projects, or even, a new hobby. If we, I'm teaching myself to play piano. I finally mastered the scale. And so, I'm not going to give up. I want it to be difficult. I want there to be days where I'm like, I can't get this. I think that's really important. Maybe it's because I come from struggle and being raised by a
Yeah.
single mom on assisted living. I guess but I do like success. And so I think too, back to your point on different businesses, I think when you create it, like, you have full control over it, it's more exciting than, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
like for instance, my podcast, I had one back in the day during COVID or before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then I got so depressed over the death of my mother that I couldn't even do anything.
yeah.
Like I was just For about
Sorry.
a year and a half, I was just because it was a fluke that she was she went in for a routine valve repair and he accidentally cut her right coronary and killed her. She walked in like she'd wheeled my dad in his wheelchair for her operation, and
Mary, I didn't know this.
yeah, yeah, he
Oh my
came
God, I'm
out.
so sorry.
Oh, thank you. He came out and said, "I don't think we're going to win this one today, folks." And I was with my mom that morning while she
Who
was
says
getting,
that?
yeah, and we went to court.
Good.
Um,
And how did it work out, or is it
well,
still
we
in
won.
court?
We settled. Our lawyer wanted us to settle, but it never brought, couldn't bring my mom back.
No.
And my dad has suffered tremendously. It was as if she got, you know, killed
Hit
in a
by a
car
car. I
accident.
mean, it
Yeah.
was, yeah,
Hmm.
because there was no
Yeah.
reason for that.
Yeah, and she wasn't afraid. It was her first surgery of her entire life, and she did it.
Oh,
It was an elective surgery that they said she didn't like taking naps because her valve was leaky, and the doctor did a minimally invasive procedure instead of open heart, and he couldn't see his field of vision. He said he couldn't see, and so he cut her right coronary artery. She bled out. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing, and so um never got over. I couldn't get over it. It took me so long because my mom was so full of life and her mom lived to 104 and she thought the last thing he said to her, the doctor before she was wheeled into the OR, I was there, said we're going to have you live to 110 longer than your mother. And then she so anyway, needless to say, I was going to say my so I stopped my podcast then and then I was one of my the things I wanted most in life was to have my own talk show when I was a kid, and ever since the house, all of that, I always just wanted to have my own talk show. And then I had to stop during COVID because I couldn't even think about doing it, and so I started my podcast up again about a year ago, and everybody and their brothers has podcasts now. Before, no one really had them. There weren't a lot of them. So I had to start back up. And there were days where I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not getting as many followers as I'd like. And I don't know if I should push myself into a niche again or make it more of a niche than. Um, and I've just decided to push through it and push through it. And I'm finally at that point now where I, got the email from YouTube saying, you're able to be monetized now and that you've got enough viewers and you've got enough subscribers and all that. So I was really happy that I got through that to that milestone. Um,
proud of you.
yeah, thanks. But there were times where I was like, like I don't know, maybe because everybody has one now that I would decide
Oh,
not to do it, right?
I'm glad you did it, but always remember, if you reach one person, it's worth it.
It is. And you know what I'm doing? I'm talking to people that I find, are just are something that touches me, something that I believe that other people, if someone affects me, I feel like there's somebody out there that will affect them as well. Whether
Yep.
I'm talking to you about your career and you being an inspiring entrepreneur. There's so many women out there who are female founders and people who are trying to make it and need to hear from you because you are a grassroots success story, and
Thank you.
you really are. And I think your book is so relevant now as it was nine editions ago. And by the way, speaking of your book, have you added to your book as you've had new editions printed, or is it
Yeah,
still
yeah, each edition I update because the world changes. The
right?
the the culture, the mindset, I change.
Mm-hmm.
I've written out ex-boyfriends, wrote in my husband, like, because it was that long ago that I wrote it before I even met my husband 15 years ago. My kids were little, living in Vancouver when I started writing it. Um, so I've gone on a journey, and it's been 20 years almost 20 years since I began writing the first edition. It took 2 years to write it, and I am not the same person I was when I was 36.
Right.
So you think about that. I'm changing. The world is changing. Politics is changing, and the struggle for women is still there. Still there. We're still in a patriarchy. You're seeing some advancements. It's wonderful, but it's still at the end of the day, for me, when I look at business and the perceptions of women in business, still very much an archaic patriarchy. And we have a lot to do in that respect. You know, there's things I've discovered that I can't wait till when I'm finished to really go after. So there's different chapters in our lives, and I won't allow what I've seen to happen to other women in the business world. It's still an old boys
Wow,
patriarchy.
that's
Mm,
interesting because you're right in
yep,
there. So
right in there.
when we look at your journey, you went to Dragon's Den. Is that before you had one perfume done? I
I
mean,
had one perfume. I had Afghanistan Orange Blossom on Dragon's Den. And I have a little secret for you. I'm going to be a guest dragon in February.
no way.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to tell till February, but I'm pretty excited. We already
Oh
filmed.
my
They had
God.
12 of us who did well in business, who stood there with our cheek going into our eye, pitching with Kevin O'Leary, being so mean to my social enterprise, and so I really enjoyed getting Brett Wilson 56 times his invest and showing Kevin O'Leary that he was wrong.
Oh my
Vindication
gosh.
is sweet. And I
Yeah.
tease, thank you, Kevin O'Leary, for keeping my seat warm because now it's mine. And it's two shows that air during the Olympics, and it's 12 of us auditioned who did well in business, who once pitched on Dragon's Den and were successful. Five of us made it to the two shows, and we have a lot more compassion for the people standing there.
Oh, I
I
bet.
think
Yeah.
I was a bit tougher though, because I really am not going to pretend I'm going to invest in you and just for TV. Like, it's very important to really want to invest in somebody. And also, every person that I didn't invest in, I had a phone call with or met personally because I felt they weren't quite ready for investment, but they certainly could use a little bit of mentorship and some guidance. So I felt like it felt really good. I love the CBC.
Because you're,
Actually, the producer is like was my producer, so like they remembered me. It was sweet. But anyway, it was lovely. It was lovely.
but you're such a good-hearted person to do that. I mean, I don't think everybody probably does
Uh,
that. The dragons, I don't think they probably do that.
Probably not. I mean, some perhaps they do. I can't speak for all of them, but I can say that for me, I know, 80% of businesses fail in the first year. My
Right.
father went bankrupt twice when we were little. He ended up leaving and we were left on assisted living, and my mom was a single mom. So I know when a family is dependent on their business and the odds are against them, that you really don't want to string them along. You want to be very
Yeah.
clear on
Yeah.
what they need to do to be successful and help them. Having seen my father do it the wrong way and then me doing it the way that worked,
What's so
you want to share
interesting,
that wisdom.
when I look at your career from me going back, what is it, almost 15, I don't know, 14 years ago when I met you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking back of you and I being Air Canada. You were in all of the Air Canada and the magazine in Air Canada, right? You're being sold on the flights in Air
Yeah,
Canada.
that's right.
You and I went to we went to Hudson's
Lord and
Bay.
Taylor.
Well,
Lord and Taylor in the
we
Bay.
went to
Yeah.
Lord and Taylor, but when we were in Banff, we went to
Bay.
to Hudson's to the Bay, and
Yeah.
you were dusting the shelves and talking to people, and you were just checking out your displays, and they were so excited to meet you. But now you're opening up a store, a standalone
Yeah. We have our
atelier
first one.
in
Our
New
first one.
York.
Yeah.
Like, Barb,
Yeah.
look at this up the
It's
ladder to the roof. I
it's
mean, really.
yeah, it's definitely a dream come true, and it's possible. And if you look at things always from a vantage of how it helps people, then it works. It really does work. If you always
Mhm.
think about how it creates something that someone needs, and experiential, creating your own perfume and having the aromatherapy memory of that day with your loved one, with your friends, with your bridesmaid party, with your kids, with your whoever you want to go with, is that scent will always remind you of that day, and it smells like no one else because they were designed to go together. So I find it very exciting to watch people. I mean, when do you get to create again? Remember when we were little, we would spray paint macaroni with gold and put it in our fridge, and our parents would
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
"Wow."
yeah.
And we go, "Look at me, I got a
Yeah.
star." Meanwhile, it's like that was being creative. And then become adults, and when do we get to be creative? No, because we're told that's not in my work plan. You can't do that. We don't have budget. All kinds of reasons why people have an idea, and then after a while, they stop coming with their ideas. So, creating a place where you can have the instant gratification of creating something and it's yours, and the scent memory of always remembering that day, and you enter a wonderland. It's all florals and magical with a direct phone line to the prime minister to get bills passed. So the ones in New York and Toronto will be very similar, a little bit more akin to the city that they're in. The same idea, and it's Sephora loves them because they're like marketing machines for Sephora stores. So the Sephora doors around my atelier, everybody goes to them. So it's win-win partnership is the way I've always looked at it. Whether it was Brett Wilson leaning in and getting 56 times his invest, or being with Sephora and over 2,000 stores and making sure that these ateliers drive traffic to them. Um, it's just a very unique business model. But if you're going from that ethical vantage of always thinking about equal partnerships with others, then it works. And this is the Stoic wisdom that the philosophers have used. That I wrote a book on. I'm like, this always works. I'm always in awe of it, Mary. I'm always like, wow, that works. Like I'm still a kid about it. I'm still like, this knowledge is all it's all there for us. Like just
Yeah.
eat it up and use it. Like they wrote all this, and you just take it, you put it together in a very digestible, female-centric package, and then you're unstoppable. And I think that's really the power behind it. And I just really have to live it, the ups, the downs, showing myself and those around me, living by example, that don't I think ideas make the world go round, and I think the saddest thing is a lost idea. And I think that we have to nurture our ideas and see them. You have to get your ideas, see how the ideas thread, and always make sure that it's a good partnership. You'll be fine.
The saddest thing is a lost idea. Hmm.
Yep.
That's true,
Saddest
isn't
thing.
it?
Saddest thing. If you think about a little girl in Afghanistan who's not allowed to read, who's married to a Taliban drug lord at the age of 9, child bride, that's heartbreaking and nothing the
Absolutely
world can
heartbreaking.
do about it. And we've gone backwards. And her dreams, are they ever going to be realized? Likely not. And then you think about North American women, here we are, and that's why we support Days for Girls to end period poverty in all these countries around the world, so that little girls are not locked in sheds on their periods, that they can become literate, that they can go to school, they can decide how many
Wow.
babies they want, they can run for office. That's how we're going to end war. It's ending period poverty. I've figured it out. That is the only way. So we're in for the long haul. It's not going to be overnight, won't be in our lifetimes, but I think it's something that we can say we were part of the foundation. And that's kind of my obsession, is carrying my best friend's mission of peace and ending period poverty. So the better we do as a business, the more I can contribute, the more I can speak about it. So there's ways to find beauty in our suffering. There's ways to, but I mean, back to North American women, nothing's stopping us. When I think about a
Yeah.
North American woman, even for me, raised on welfare in a trailer, you get a student loan, you get on a bus, you go to university, you ask good questions, you get a mentor. It's possible. It's not possible for many women in these countries around the world. That's where we have to invest. That's where we have to, because that lost dream is the saddest thing on the
Yeah.
planet. And
Absolutely.
we have no real excuse in North America not to live our dreams. We really don't.
Fear stops all of us from doing so many things, right? Or from saying things that we
Yeah.
believe, or
Mm.
from
Yeah.
feeling, I mean, Dalai Lama said something about fear. I can't remember exact quote, but that fear is really what prevents us from moving forward in life. The fear that we're
Fully.
not going to be accepted, the fear that someone's going to make fun of what you are,
Hmm.
saying or doing. So you just
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Yeah.
How
Well,
many?
and that's it. I mean, I think the moment you realize you have nothing to lose, that's when you become strong. Because for me, what's the worst thing that could happen? I go back to my trailer and my poverty. Sure. Like, obviously, I'm far away from that now, but uh, when you have nothing to lose, you take risks. And I think that's the problem. I think people have to think like they have nothing to lose. And that's how you become brave.
I
Um,
love that.
well, right? I mean, you got nothing to lose. You skin your knee, you get up, you try again. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, how many times did Churchill run for office and didn't make it? Lincoln 3 times, and then they became two of the greatest world leaders. So I love those stories of even for me, I was late in life. I didn't start my business till I was 41. Fell in love when I was 41. I mean, I meet these young women, they're 25 and they're, you know, understandably, which way do I go? I get it. We were all there.
Or I'm too
But
old to start something.
right. It's
Yeah.
like I was 41 and I'm just getting started. I'm 56. I am just getting started. I feel like I'm only halfway to where I'm going. So now it's all fun now,
Let
right?
me ask you, what is the dream? I mean, you've accomplished so much now, and like I said, you're such an inspiring for anybody who wants to I think they need to read your book because your book is timeless.
Thank
And
you.
it really is. And I love the last edition because the latest edition, because I still have, I think, two of the earlier. I have two.
Oh, wow. I think they
Um,
even have different covers.
yeah, they
I
do.
think they
They do
look
have
different
different
every
covers.
time.
But what do you think, like, if what kind of advice would you, and you just gave a lot of it, but today's world is different than it was even 10 years ago
Yep.
because Amazon wasn't happening. Like, look at the retail
Mm-mm.
space
TikTok,
now.
AI, TikTok shop, Amazon, AI,
Yeah, it's so
everything's out
different.
there.
So
Yep.
is it harder now, do you think? Or is it easier
Uh,
now to get into retail, let's
it's,
say?
yeah, I think if you have a great idea, and as Brett Wilson said, he invests in the jockey, not the horse. He was investing in me. So a great founder, an unstoppable passion for what you're doing, as you spoke earlier, Mary, but loving what you do. Um, I don't I don't really think any time frame changes anything. It doesn't matter. It just everything manifests itself a little differently. But I think that you can always cut through if you have that je ne sais quoi, as we say in Canada, that I don't know,
Yeah.
that special secret sauce. You can cut through anything because you will quickly adapt and learn and grow and move faster than your competition. So, we've had moments where you're kind of like you're up and then it's like, oh, okay, we got to figure that out. What do meta ads look like? Let's get a marketing VP. Let's figure out what it looks like under the hood. Oh, that's how they do it. Oh, okay, you mean up until now I was literally just putting a perfume on a shelf and not really telling the world? Oh my god. So you learn, and that these are just new learnings I'm having in the last 6 months and
And look
seeing
at for our age
everything.
group, it's a lot to learn too, because
It's a
this all of
lot.
this, like, these millennials, of course, you've got Victor, thank goodness for a
The
lot of
Victor, and I hire a lot of millennials and Gen Z, are very young company. Everybody's very young and very female. Yes, I have my son Victor, my husband, and Paul, but we're 92% female. Our board is 60% female. And I will
wow.
not have a middle-aged man come in and tell Gen Z girls what they're doing wrong. Not going to happen under my watch.
Yeah, and
We
rightfully
still
so.
hire men, obviously. We hire the best person for the job. However, in our company, it's 92% female. So it really does show, well, our client is female. And the men that work in our company are extraordinary. They support all of the women in our company. They are a delight to work with. They love their wives, their children, and they are great men. And we are just better for it, but making sure that women feel like they're working in a safe environment with other women in a culture that is safe to share your ideas is very important.
Yeah. So what is your idea for the I started this earlier and then I forgot, so I'm
Future.
coming back to it. Yeah, where do you see the seven virtues
Yeah. Well,
landing
I have
ultimately?
investors. Right. Great question, Mary. Where do I see seven virtues landing? Ultimately, I have investors. So Unilever Ventures invested in us. They met with 25 fragrance companies and chose us, the only Canadian perfume in Sephora. And True Beauty Ventures invested in us, and a few other amazing special investors all came on board. I still own majority,
Wow.
and I need to make them money. That's my responsibility now. So I did that for Brett Wilson first round. The next round is you have to deliver to your partners, right? That's very important to me. My word is all I own, especially when
Right.
you come from nothing. Your word is everything.
Right.
And so the ultimate goal is you sell and everybody makes a lot of money, and you keep us maybe a small percentage and help in small ways, such as ensuring that the products are heroes, whatever they want, or you get out of the way. It's completely how it works. You just let the board know you're there to support or move
Mhm.
on. You see that in other really great businesses. When Aesop sold to L'Oreal, it was sold, but the owner still would meet with the production team and just check in. And there's different ways, different hybrid versions of what that looks like. But ultimately, you sell, you go lay on a beach for a year.
You want to be acquired.
Yeah, you go silent, turn off all your social, turn off your phone, and go spend a year. And for me, it would be to give my 8-year-old self, who used to say, "Why, God, why are the mice are chewing my blankets? Why'd you send me here?" Uh, and to give her a year and say, "Here you go." My younger self. I think we have to always take care of our younger selves, whether there was neglect or abuse or just not the support a person needed, to always find a way to go back to your younger self and say, "It's okay now." And I think it
I
helps
love
us
that.
get
For
rid of
some
any of
reason,
our.
that makes me tear up. I don't know why.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
No,
Well, you
it's
gotta
like
do it, Mary. It's so
because I
special
think
because.
yeah, all of us
Yeah, go
have
ahead.
that little girl or little boy that needs to you need to go back to
Yep,
say, I need to satisfy this, or I need to know that this is okay. And that,
it's gonna be okay. Yep, and we have to do that. We can't physically go back, obviously, but we still carry them, and sometimes we can quiet them down. So if that 8-year-old self is still acting up and, causing you anxiety, you can say, "We're okay now. You can you can calm down and either go away or just, be
yeah, or
happy."
that you're never good enough, or that,
Yeah,
you were scolded by your parents for certain things, that you're just not that anymore, but you still have
yeah,
that in your head. Oh, am I that? Like, am I
right.
irresponsible? Am I, um,
And you tell your 8-year-old self, "None of that was true. You were always amazing." And your 8-year-old self has to understand it. And I think that's what makes our grown-up selves stronger, and that
yeah,
return to undoing some of the negativity or issues that happened. And then it's healing, it's cathartic. So that's my big project, is to take a year. My son was adorable. He was like, "You should start a foundation." I was like, "Great idea. I probably will one day." And I said to my whole family, "There's a lot of things I'd love to do, possibly run for office, so many things I'd love to do in service to others." However, my 8-year-old self with the mice chewing our blankets, she's getting a year where no one's gonna bug us, and we're gonna go lay on a beach and know that it's okay. Read some Alan Watts, a lot of philosophy, and go where the wind takes us
I'm
and
gonna join you on
dance.
that
And
one for a
you
week.
come on that trip with me. You come on that trip with me, and just know that life is very fast and very quick and very wonderful, and really just squeeze the juice out of it. And then once I've done all that, after we've gone on our trip and had some fun, uh, then I'll have to think about foundations and service and,
Yeah.
political service, whether it's me running or supporting young candidates, doesn't matter. I will serve in any capacity, to make sure that we do have to end poverty and war in this world and end corruption. And I'm not leaving this earth until, I mean, look at Afghanistan, look at Haiti, these countries that I love dearly, which can't go to anymore. That's not advanced. Trillions of dollars spent, lots of bloodshed, and my best friend, his bloodshed and the injury that he still has to live with. He's in a wheelchair. He survived, God bless him, and we love Trevor and his family. But
Captain Green.
his Captain Green, his life, he's in a wheelchair. His
Yeah.
service, his blood was shed on that ground, and trillions of dollars, taxpayers' dollars, were spent. And Taliban's just took it back over, a group of terrorists or the government, and little girls are terrorized. Before the Taliban took back over during the pandemic, 47% of Afghans lived beneath poverty. Now it's 97%. I mean, the corruption is disgusting. So, it's got to end. It's got to end. And these
It's
terrorist
gotta
groups.
end.
Now
I
I'm
mean,
done.
look
Done.
at Gaza. I mean, it's just,
Oh, it's
I,
heartbreaking.
it's just,
Absolutely. At least political power. To think that terrorist groups are in political power,
yeah.
primarily male. And that's why ending period poverty is really grassroots, really empowering women in their own communities to rise up.
And guess what? I have often said this, and I always get like men that will say you're crazy. I always say if women ran the world, if women were at the top of all of these, like at the countries, like they were prime ministers, presidents, I don't think we'd have all this
Mary, you're spot
war.
on. We wouldn't. And I can give you evidence, full proof. Dalai Lama said, in Vancouver, where I met you, where you have a home, he said that it'll be North American women who will build world peace. And I think it's through women in social enterprise, women running for office, women speaking loud, women such as yourself giving a platform to other women. These are going to be some of the ways. And Rwanda, where I went on International Women's Day, I landed with my son Victor. Rwanda is a fascinating place because it had, you know, it from like from what you were saying, if women ran the world, Rwanda
Yeah.
is the example for you because they had the most heinous genocide. Almost 1 million people died in 100 days. Husbands turned on wives. How do you come back from that? They put in their constitution minimum 30% female, one seat for the disabled because so many people lost limbs. And
Oh my
so
God.
heart wrenching. And you know what? They ended up becoming the first female majority government in the world. They are, as a result, the fastest growing, safest, least corrupt country in Africa. So what you just said, Mary, was spot on. Women run the world, and Rwanda's the example. There would be no corruption, no war, no poverty, guaranteed.
I I truly believe it. If you even look at back like to Golda Meir and some of these, I think even Italy has now a woman in charge, and I don't know. I just keep thinking if we just had women everywhere, maybe we could have a glass of wine and talk it out. Like, I
Yeah, well,
think,
exactly. Have a glass of wine. Talk. Well, think about it, Mary. If our kids did something when they were little, you have beautiful children, so do I. I love
thank
that they all
you.
know each other. And, when one of our kids did something wrong, we didn't say, "Oh, you're a terrible person." We'd be like, "All right, go over and say you're sorry to Billy. It'll
Yes,
be all right. Get over there in the corner. You can't do that now. Now come back. Mommy loves you." We never said you're a bad person, just the behavior, and we're here to socialize you. It's my job. And men don't rule like that. But when women rule like that, guess what? You can heal people. Look at Rwanda. I'll return to it because 100,000 people killed people. What do you don't want hundreds of thousands of people in jail? What do you do with them? They took all the people who killed men and they put them in pink jumpsuits and they made them go back. Yeah, they made them go back to the families and say, I am so sorry for killing your loved one. Here is where they are buried. I'm asking you for forgiveness. And if the family felt they were truly sorry, they would cut their jail sentence in half and get them to become a working member of society. This is restorative justice. This
that's
is female
beautiful.
centric. And, jails are the biggest business generator in the States. It's disgusting. Restorative justice is the way. These women got it. These same women, gorillas, 97% are DNA. They're nearly extinct. And what the women did was they said, well, why don't we take the poachers who kill the gorillas because they're poor and pay them more to protect the gorillas. So when we went on a tour to visit the gorillas, it's mind blowing. Uh, it really should be on everybody's bucket list. You pay $1,700. The money goes toward paying that pays the poacher, former poacher, rehabilitated as a tour guide, pays for healthcare and schools in the community, and the gorillas are safe. And again, an
Wow.
example of restorative, healthy leadership. Throw no one out. Everyone can be restored unless there's extreme case of, some sort of psychosis and they get the right care they need. Most people can be restored. And I think that's a female perspective, very different from men, where they say, oh, well, we'll just have the men in jails, have have them
Yeah, there's no
make
forgiveness. There's no
they make
forgiveness.
no, there's no forgiveness. You're
Yeah,
gonna be in jail forever and rot and cost the government a lot of money, and then the family doesn't get to be with you and you don't get to be rehabilitated. It's like restorative justice is a very female way of thinking. There's a lot of men who support it too, which is great. But so you can see there's no end to the resolution we'll have when we have females at the helm. And I admire these countries like Rwanda that I have had the fortune to go visit and learn from. I mean, even the president's wife, President Kagama's wife, created a mentorship program, and every Rwandan who has a university degree commits to mentoring three adult orphans who lost their
wow. I
parents.
just want I want people to know about Buttercream Haze because I don't even know the notes in it. Please tell me all
Mm,
about Buttercream Haze and how you came up with it.
butter, butter, cream haze,
Buttercream Haze.
sweater weather. Buttercream haze is it's the most rebellious gourmand ever. sold out 50 stores first day, was the number one selling perfume at Sephora last week.
No
This was like our
way.
most, I know, crazy, right? And number six in the States. This is the most explosive scent we've ever launched. And I think it's really pent up demand for a really great gourmand that's multi-layered, right? So it can't just be sickly sweet. It can't be scratch and sniff sticker.
Yeah, yeah.
This is very much a whole cake, buttercream icing, nostalgia, gourmand nostalgia, that baking a cake when you were younger, that happy, warm feeling when you come in the house and your mom or your grandma's or your aunt has made something delicious and has it there for you, because food is our way of showing love.
Yeah.
And so it's got beautiful lemon zest. It's a whole cake. It's got whipped vanilla. It's got tonka bean. Of course, as we're Canadian, it's got maple creme, a nod to being Canadian, a fluffy pancake accord, which is kind of
Oh
crazy
my
for a
God.
cake. Yeah, I
I
mean,
want to
make a
eat
cake
it.
with
Maybe spray it
pancakes.
in here.
Yeah, we spray
It
it like this,
smells
actually,
delicious. Like it.
pretending we're drinking it, and, oh, it's so clean, you probably could. But, and then it's got a really nice sandalwood creamy musk base, so it
I
goes
love
warm, warm,
sandalwood.
warm.
I love
So
sandalwood.
yeah, me too, right? So
Oh
it's
yeah.
just this with the cherry ambition that you have together is insane, because they
You
both
wear
have
them, you layer
sandalwood,
it? Do you
vanilla, layer them. You bake your own scent together.
I'm spraying mine. Do you see it spraying everywhere? Probably not. Oh,
It's all
I
aromatherapy on the
love this
back.
one. I love
It's
cherry
that
ambition.
one. If you love that one, have it with the buttercream together, and you'll be chased up escalators by strangers being asked what you're wearing. We have the cutest ones we're launching for a holiday. We just launched them. We never did these before, but it's the little minis.
Oh,
So,
I've
like,
had those
do you
minis once before.
know, little tiny mini
Remember
cherry?
you had
So
them in
if
a
I
in a
take,
line. You had
it's like a
so
tiny
for the
little one. It's got
holiday.
a sprayer. So these are all limited edition at Sephora, and you get 24% off.
So one of the
Yeah.
things I like to ask, because a lot of my podcasts seem to be a lot about beauty, longevity, a lot of health stuff too. What do you do? What are you doing? Because I know you've always been somebody who works out. What are you doing now to keep yourself healthy and to promote longevity? What are you doing now for that for yourself?
Few things. Walk fast. Got to walk fast. When you walk, it's got to be at least under the 10 number on your Apple Watch. So you got to get to 10 or under. So move fast. Sleep in a very cold room. You have to sleep in
I
a
heard
cold
that
room.
66 degrees is what it should be.
Very cold. My husband and I are always in a very cold room. We sleep and sleep. I monitor how many hours I've got. It's very important. I average about 7.5, which is incredible. I never used to have that because
I
I
do
didn't.
this.
Oh,
I got that ring,
oh, so you've
that
got the ring. So you've got the Aura ring. My
the
husband
Aura
has
ring.
that. So that's very smart. So I get my 7.5 hours sleep. So yeah, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, depends, but an average. Very conscious of it. I eat what I love, but it's healthy. I
Yeah.
don't eat sugar or processed things unless it's a birthday. And even then, I don't really love it. And
Are
then
you still
let's
having
see,
an
my
occasional glass of wine?
husband's occasional.
Ah,
Wine's very good for you. It
you
should
and
be
me both.
all
I
the
know
time.
everybody says not to, and I'm
All
like, you
the
know what?
time.
I enjoy my glass of wine. Like it is one of the
Girl.
things in life I enjoy. So I am not going to
Yes.
not be having my
No,
glass.
no, that's actually good for you. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. You're better off having the wine. And so you exercise every day. Take a day off a week, just take a lazy day.
Are
Watch your
you lifting?
Netflix.
Are you saying strength
Do
training?
lift. Yep. I do my weight training 3 days a week. I
Okay.
do my cardio 2 days a week. I do my swimming once a week. And I just do walking as well within that. And then sometimes there's a day where you just don't do anything. You're supposed to do that. Let your
Yeah, you're
body
supposed to
rest.
do that.
Right. And
Are you
that's really
doing
it.
any HRT, any of those kinds of
I do
things?
HRT full on. I used to be like, oh my God, the boxes are the wrong pink. It's like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Who is she? It's awful. But no one talked about it back then. So now I'm like, I just feel like
I
I
got the
just feel
patch.
so. Oh,
I've
you get
got
the
the
patch?
I got the patch and I
Nice.
do the progesterone at night. I do the estradiol patch. I did have the
Very
oral
good.
estradiol, but I switched to the patch.
Yep.
And then I have some testosterone cream. I always forget to use it, but you put it like on your inner thigh or inner arm or something, and she told me to use that 3 days, 3 times a week, just because I don't. It's hard for me to gain muscle, even if I do
Oh, okay.
weights
You
a
know what? Don't
lot.
you take creatine though?
I have creatine.
So creatine every day with your bottle of water once,
Mhm.
no matter what. Take
Yeah.
it during my workout, flavored, sugar free, and BCAAs when you do your weights. So
What's
I get
BCAA?
so BCAAs, it's like some kind of fancy word, but BCAAs during your workout help your muscle really get defined. So
Oh,
I
I need
take,
to write that
yeah,
down.
BCAAs during your workout with weights only, and creatine every day.
BCAAs.
Yeah,
Okay, and you do,
BCAA. It's
and
all
creatine's
caps.
good for your brain as well, right?
Brain, everything, everything. And I take iron 3 days a week just because I don't eat land animals. So I'm a pescatarian.
Oh, were
So
you always a
mhm.
pescatarian?
For the last 10 years. So probably not when we were hanging out, but now 10 years now, my husband 8 years.
Nothing with eyelashes. You don't eat
Nothing with
eyelash.
eyelashes. That's
That's what I
right.
used
No
to
land
think.
animals. No land animals. That's
Wow.
cute. Yeah.
Well, you look
I've never been
fantastic.
healthier.
You're
Thank you. So do
beautiful
you.
as ever.
Beautiful.
And I have to just
Love
say, like,
you.
I loved your new ad or your campaign for the Buttercream Haze because you were here's Cherry Ambition, you were the blonde ambition.
I
Um,
know. Remember that?
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it was so
Yeah.
cute. I
Yeah. It's
loved
so
it.
cute. We're having fun. We're having fun.
And your
It's like we get,
stores are beautiful. The one in
oh,
Halifax,
thank
that store
you.
is gorgeous.
It's a happy place, sanctuary, joy, happiness, and everyone asks, "Build in my city, build in my city." I'm like, "I'm trying." New York, Toronto, I go where the most Sephora doors are at first. So I would love to come to Vancouver too, because you have quite a few Sephora
Yes,
doors there as
yes.
well.
And by the
So
way, anytime you need me to be an ambassador, I am
love
ready and
you.
willing. And I'm
Love
already
you.
being an ambassador. You just don't know it.
Oh,
Even in
I know
Palm
you are.
Desert,
You're
I go to the one in
incredible.
Palm Desert and I'm like,
Oh
hey,
my
or the one in Palm
God.
Springs.
Let's
But
get together in a city somehow. Let's just
we
find a
will. We
city
will.
and
I love
we'll
you,
go
sister.
offline and sort it out. I love you so much. Mwah. You're
Mwah.
amazing.
Okay, and good
Okay.
luck with your call. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. I'll
You're going
keep
to
you
take over New
posted.
York.
Thank you.
Okay, love you,
Together.
sweetie. Yes.
I love you.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay. Bye.